The moment my sister looked at my 12-year-old daughter and said, "You're not welcome here unless someone pays for your seat," I felt the entire wedding hall go silent. My daughter squeezed my hand so tightly I could feel her shaking, but she refused to cry. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I simply smiled, took my daughter's hand, and walked out. Everyone thought I had accepted the humiliation. They had no idea that within a few hours, the bride herself would be calling me over and over, desperately begging me to come back, because one quiet decision changed everything. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. And tell me, what country are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments below. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 42 years old, a high school counselor, and the proud mother of my 12-year-old daughter, Lily. For most of our lives, my younger sister, Ava, had been my closest friend. We celebrated birthdays together, spent holidays side by side, and promised nothing would ever come between us. But after she got engaged to a wealthy real estate developer named Daniel, something changed. She became obsessed with appearances, expensive lifestyles, and impressing people who barely knew her. Every conversation somehow turned into money, luxury, or social status. When her elegant wedding invitation arrived, Lily danced around the living room with excitement. She adored her aunt and had spent weeks drawing a handmade wedding card filled with colorful flowers and little hearts. "I can't wait to give this to Aunt Ava," she said with the biggest smile. Seeing her so happy made me believe that maybe the distance between my sister and me wasn't permanent after all. 3 days before the ceremony, Ava called. "Emily," she began sweetly, "I just wanted to remind everyone that we're asking guests to contribute toward their dinner because the wedding is costing much more than expected." I hesitated. "I already bought your bridal shower gift and your wedding gift." "I know," she replied quickly. "This is separate. Everyone understands." The conversation left an uncomfortable feeling in my stomach, but I quietly transferred the requested amount. I didn't want unnecessary drama before her big day. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The morning of the wedding, Lily wore a beautiful light blue dress she'd carefully picked weeks earlier. She looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, "Do you think Aunt Ava will like my card?" "I'm sure she will," I answered, forcing a smile. When we arrived at the venue, guests filled the entrance with laughter and cameras flashed everywhere. Before we could walk inside, Ava suddenly stepped in front of us. Her smile disappeared. "I'm sorry," she said loudly enough for nearby guests to hear, "but Lily can't come in." I stared at her. "What are you talking about?" "You only paid for one adult seat," she replied calmly. "Children weren't included. If you want her inside, you'll need to cover her guest contribution now." Lily looked up at me, completely confused. "Mom, did I do something wrong?" Every conversation around us seemed to stop. I knelt beside my daughter, took the handmade card from her trembling hands, and smiled gently. "No, sweetheart," I whispered. "You did absolutely nothing wrong." I stood, looked at my sister one last time, then quietly took Lily's hand and walked back toward the parking lot. Just as I started the car, my phone rang. The caller ID made me stop breathing. I glanced at the screen. The call was from Melissa, the wedding coordinator. For a second, I considered ignoring it. Instead, I answered. "Mrs. Carter?" she asked, sounding flustered. "I'm so sorry to bother you. I found your number in the emergency contact folder. I think there's been a misunderstanding." "What kind of misunderstanding?" Melissa lowered her voice. "The personalized slideshow for the reception won't play. The only working copy is on the flash drive you dropped off yesterday. One of the staff accidentally handed it back to you with your welcome envelope. We just realized it's missing." I looked down at my purse. She was right. The small silver flash drive was still inside. Months earlier, Ava had asked me to organize childhood photographs because I was the only one who still had the original family albums after our parents passed away. I'd spent nearly 30 hours scanning pictures, arranging them into a beautiful presentation, and writing captions that told the story of our family. Without that file, the reception would lose the surprise tribute she'd planned for our late parents. Melissa spoke again. "Would you be willing to bring it back?" I looked through the windshield at Lily. She was staring quietly out the passenger window, still holding the wedding card she never got to give her aunt. My heart answered before my mouth did. "I'm sorry," I said calmly. "I'm not coming back." There was a long silence. "I understand," Melissa finally whispered. I ended the call. Instead of driving home, I asked Lily a simple question. What would make today better? She thought for a moment. Can we go somewhere people actually want us? I smiled. I think that's the best idea I've heard all day. An hour later, we were sitting beside the ocean, eating fish tacos from a small cafe overlooking the beach. We collected seashells, laughed at children chasing seagulls, and watched the waves roll onto the sand. Little by little, Lily's smile returned. Meanwhile, my phone refused to stay quiet. Ava called. Then again. And again. 5 missed calls became 12. 12 became 26. Messages started appearing one after another. Where are you? Please answer. The reception is delayed. Everyone's waiting. I slipped my phone back into my bag without replying. No slideshow was worth more than my daughter's dignity. Nearly 3 hours passed before the screen lit up once more. This time, it wasn't another missed call. It was a single text message from Ava. Emily, please. I made a terrible mistake. We need you back immediately. I stared at Ava's message for a long moment before locking my phone. Lily noticed. Is Aunt Ava okay? She asked quietly. I looked at my daughter. Even after everything that had happened, she was worried about someone who had just humiliated her. She'll be okay, I said gently. Right now, I want to make sure you're okay. She smiled and nodded. About 15 minutes later, my phone rang again. This time, I answered. Ava was crying so hard she could barely speak. Emily, please, I'm begging you. The reception can't start without the slideshow. Everyone keeps asking about it. Daniel's parents are furious. The guests don't understand why everything stopped. I remained silent. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I never wanted this to happen. You stopped my daughter at the door. I replied calmly. She thought she'd done something wrong. I know, Ava sobbed. I wasn't thinking. No, I answered. You were thinking about money. You just forgot about family. The line went quiet. I'll pay you back, she said desperately. I'll apologize in front of everyone. Just please come back. It's not about the slideshow, I said. And it was never about the money. What do you mean? My little girl spent weeks making you a card because she loves you. Instead of thanking her, you embarrassed her in front of strangers. Some memories stay with children for years. I won't teach my daughter that accepting disrespect is the price of keeping peace. She cried even harder. I understand. I hope someday you truly do. I wished her a peaceful wedding and ended the call. 3 weeks later, there was a knock on my front door. Ava stood there alone. Her eyes were swollen, and she held a small gift bag. Without saying a word, she knelt in front of Lily. I'm sorry, she said, her voice trembling. You did absolutely nothing wrong. I let pride make me forget what mattered most. She handed Lily the gift bag. Inside was the handmade wedding card Lily had left behind, carefully protected inside a clear frame, along with a handwritten letter apologizing for hurting her feelings. Lily quietly hugged her aunt. Watching them, I realized forgiveness doesn't erase painful moments. It simply gives people the chance to become better than they were before. That day, my sister finally learned something no expensive wedding could ever teach her. Respect is priceless, and families should never have to earn it.